The royal wedding with plenty of drama, new embassies in Jerusalem, and the fake news media, they are some thirsty hoes. All of that today on the Rebel Buzz. Once again, we find that the media and liberals are more desperate for dirt than an empty ant farm. They are thirstier than an Irish Catholic during Lent. In a conversation surrounding how to eradicate the horror caused by international criminal gang MS-13, which has been declared a terrorist organization and will likely be listed as such by the State Department, President Trump said that these gang members are animals, because they are, at best. Some celebrities and news outlets that were undoubtedly watching it live and provided coverage of it went berserk. But before I go through their comments, let's just highlight a few of the crimes committed by MS-13 gang members. In January of 2017, gang members filmed the torture, stabbing, and murder of a 15-year-old girl. In March of 2017, 2 MS-13 gang members were charged with kidnapping, physical and sexual torture, and murder of yet another teen girl. In March of last year, 3 MS-13 gang members were charged with murder of a 17-year-old boy who had been mutilated by the gang members who stabbed him 16 times, ran over him, and cut off his hands. So, yeah, they are at best animals. But Press Secretary Sarah Sanders thinks that the term animal is too generous, which I tend to agree with. In the White House press briefing Thursday morning, she said this.
MS-13 has done heinous acts. It took an animal to stab a man 100 times and decapitate him and rip his heart out. It took an animal to beat a woman they were sex trafficking with a bat 28 times, indenting part of her body. And it took an animal to kidnap, drug, and rape a 14-year-old Houston girl.
That is what President Trump was talking about when he said animals, you idiots. But let's look at some of the celebrity and media reactions. That clueless carrot, Kathy Griffin, tweeted this. How the F isn't this a breaking news story? The President of the United States calling immigrants animals. He's acting like that it's just the criminals, but he really means all immigrants. It's not breaking news, Kathy, because he was just talking about MS-13 gang members. Conan O'Brien's sidekick, Andy Richter, calls the president dehumanizing bigot monster. And starlet, aka Twit, Sophia Bush, tweeted that ICE is deporting people who've served multiple tours in the U.S. military. That literally has nothing to do with this conversation, Thirst Queen, since again, we're talking about MS-13, not normal law-abiding immigrants. Try to keep up, honey. George Takei, whatever, tweeted, these aren't people, these are animals. Trump speaking in California about undocumented immigrants. They just lie. It's unbelievable. Their mouths open and a lie comes out. Do you people think that this helps reverse the loss of popularity that Hollywood has been experiencing the last 2 years? Because it doesn't. You just look like egg on your face, uninformed, dishonest dolts. But they're not the only ones. ABC News, the New York Times, NBC News, the Associated Press, CBS News, CNN, and even C-SPAN all took the comments out of context, reporting that the president was speaking about immigrants as a whole. The Associated Press is the only outlet to issue a correction, if you can even call it that. They tweeted this. AP has deleted a tweet from late Wednesday on Trump's animals comment about immigrants because it wasn't made clear that he was speaking after a comment about gang members. So that's their version of a correction after a major mistake, a flippant tweet a day later. Great job, AP. What do Guatemala, Paraguay, Czech Republic, Romania, Honduras, Marshall Islands, Micronesia, Nauru, Palau, and Togo have in common? If they are all places you visited, props to you, congratulations, world traveler. But beyond that, they've all expressed intent to follow President Trump and the United States lead in moving their embassies to Jerusalem, the capital of Israel. Guatemala was the first country to follow suit and have already relocated their embassy. In a post by the president of Guatemala, Jimmy Morales, he announced that they would move the embassy on May 16th and said this. I decided to return the embassy of Guatemala to the city of Jerusalem 2 days after the United States moved its embassy. This is a sovereign decision, and as a sovereign decision, we recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Noting that Guatemala voiced their intent early on, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said at a ceremony, "You were always among the first. We remember our friends, and Guatemala is our friend then and now." So, Now, how many more countries will likely follow suit and move their embassies? I honestly just think that these countries needed a little bit of a nudge and maybe some diplomatic courage courtesy of our POTUS. But in attendance at the ceremony for the U.S. Embassy were top officials with the RNC, 4 Republican senators, 10 Republican congressmen, 1 Republican governor, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, the president's daughter Ivanka Trump, and her husband Jared Kushner, among many others. But notably absent, no Democrats were present. None. 0. All right, moving on to our final and fun topic of the week. Yay, it's the royal wedding tomorrow. Do you care? Who cares? I don't care. Do you care? But I guess a lot of people do care. So I'm going to give you the lowdown on the marital throwdown. First of all, the wedding will take place at St. George's Chapel in Windsor. The bride, Meghan Markle, is an American actress best known for her role on Suits. She's biracial and a divorcee, which in normal circumstances, I don't think that would really matter. But this is the monarchy that forced Prince Edward VIII to abdicate the throne after he fell in love with an American divorcee. I think she was a divorcee a few times over. Also, the monarchy that prevented Princess Margaret from marrying her divorcee man, Peter Townsend. I wonder what they would all think now. Anyway, drama has plagued the bride as her family has spoken out against her character and the wedding itself. I guess it's one of those yours, mine, and ours types of families with half-siblings and step-siblings and all of that tangled web of familial confusion. But her half-brother, Thomas Jr., called her phony and said that she has been giving the performance of her life since she became famous. He wrote a letter to Prince Harry that said this: "As more time passes to your royal wedding, it became very clear that this is the biggest mistake in royal wedding history. Meghan Markle is obviously not the right woman for you." He also stressed that his half-sister is shallow and conceited and that Prince Harry still has time to back out. Whoops. And her father, who was initially slated to walk her down the aisle, is recovering from heart surgery, so he will not be doing that. So it'll be interesting to see who gives her away at the ceremony. And people are particularly enchanted by this wedding since it's a, symbolic union of American and British heritage. But President Trump, as well as Barack and Michelle Obama, were not invited. British Prime Minister Theresa May also was not invited, which seems hella shady. But perhaps the biggest invite shocker of all, the Spice Girls were not invited. Oh my God. But lots of people who were not invited will show up anyway, and the area surrounding the chapel will look a lot like the infield at a NASCAR race. Anyway, after the wedding, they will become Duke and Duchess, likely of Sussex, I have heard, but I guess that's yet to be determined. And on a financial side note, the two of them together are worth about $30 million, none of which belongs to the crown. That is all theirs. $25 million of which is Harry's from inheritance and an annual allowance from Prince Charles, and $5 million of which is from Meghan's TV revenue. Should we start placing bets on how long this marriage will last, or how long before a Prince Philip style scandal happens? I'll put 500 on 2 years or less. Everybody, have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. I'm Amanda Head for The Rebel. If you enjoyed my commentary and want to hear more from all of us here at The Rebel, subscribe to our premium content at www.therebel.media/shows. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for all of our latest news, and download our app for The Rebel Media on the App Store. That way you will have easy and instant access to all of our latest videos and your favorite Rebel shows. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Amanda Head for The Rebel.